What does it take to build a successful tech career while navigating the challenges of immigration? Well, my guest today has got a remarkable story to share. He's originally from Ukraine. His name's Yehor, and he moved to the UK just 2 years ago. But he quickly found his place within the tech industry, fulfilling a lifelong dream. So I want to give him a little airtime today, explore his journey from securing a job within a week of arriving in the UK to discussing the contrasting tech landscape of what he's seen in Ukraine compared to the UK, and also ask him to share his unique perspectives on AI's role in backend development and how open source development fosters innovation and transparency. And if we've got time, I also want to hear more about his recent book, Your Journey to Fluent Python, and dive into the exciting trends he's seeing right now in backend development. So I'm really excited to get him on the podcast today. Before we welcome our guest onto the podcast today, though, legacy managed file transfer tools are dated and lack the security that today's remote workforce often demands. And companies that continue relying on that outdated technology often are in danger of putting their sensitive data at risk. So in the world of secure file transfers, Kiteworks stands alone with their FedRAMP moderate authorized since 2017. It is now known as the gold standard in MFT security. And with yearly audits and continuous monitoring, Kiteworks doesn't just meet standards, it sets them. For example, if you need CMMC compliance, Kiteworks fast-tracks your authorization, saving you both time and money. You can step into the future of secure managed file transfer with Kiteworks today by visiting kiteworks.com to get started. That's kiteworks.com to get started today. But now it's time to dive into today's fascinating conversation with my guest. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Hello, everyone. My name is Yehor. I'm a software engineer with 3.5 years of experience. I'm 22 years old and originally from Ukraine. But now I live in the best country in the world, the United Kingdom, Great Britain. I am author of Your Journey to Fluent Python book, co-founder and CTO of Swetrix, open source privacy-based web analytics platform. We registered it in the UK this year in February. And additionally, I work as a software engineer in Oxford for 1.5 years already. Big fan of tennis, chess, Rick and Morty, and sci-fi stuff.
A bit of a mixed bag there. I love that. Brilliant. And one of the reasons I invited you on the podcast to join me today is your journey from Ukraine to the United Kingdom is incredibly inspiring. So I've got to ask, what challenge did you face as an immigrant in the UK tech industry, and how did you overcome them to establish yourself as a software engineer and entrepreneur? Because it is an inspiring story.
To be honest, I always dreamed of living in the United Kingdom since my childhood. My aunt gifted me a Harry Potter book, The Philosopher's Stone. I liked it so much. I was 4 years old. This is a story I tell everyone. And from that moment, I started being obsessed about British history, British culture, English language. I intentionally started learning English in very young age when I was 5 or 6. That was very expensive for my family there back in Ukraine at that time. But I got best tutors in Ukraine, so joined some schools, English schools, and had lots of practice. Regarding the journey, I will probably start from 2022. I moved to Czech Republic after the war, and from there I applied under the Ukrainian scheme to the UK, under Homes for Ukraine. And at that moment, it was March or May 2022. In Czech Republic, I received an offer to join Kiwi.com. At the same time, I was invited to an informal dinner with a team lead in Prague. We had an informal dinner. They offered me a lot of money. I don't remember. I didn't have a lot of experience yet there, but that was 4,000 euros for that position. Everything was agreed. And Neil, can you imagine, at the same time, I was approved under the Homes for Ukraine scheme the same day.
Wow.
And I had to make a lifetime choice, either stay in Czech Republic, accept the offer in Kiwi.com, or move to the UK.
Whoa. So you spin the wheel there and you ended up choosing the UK. Any regrets? You glad you made that decision?
Yes, I decided to fulfill my dream, and literally within a week, me and my partner were fully packed and we arrived to London. That was the best memories I had when we first flew into London. That's a huge, giant, beautiful city. And answering your question regarding challenges, I didn't have problems in the UK at all. I found a job within a week. I know English language in excellence, and I share British values. So for me, Alexander Isherwood, he offered me a job within a week of my arrival, and he became my first British employer and real friend. So my integration was very smooth. British government supported us as well. We got jobs, moved to private landlord, renting the flat, living in the UK, enjoying life.
Love it. What a great story. And of course, that would lead you to Swetrix, a privacy-based web analytics startup. What was it that motivated you to focus on privacy? And how does this differentiate itself from so many other web analytic platforms out there in this increasingly privacy-conscious world?
All right. Let's start not from Swetrix, but from Google Analytics.
Yeah.
First of all, Google Analytics is huge, massive interface. It requires a lot of time to figure out how to use it. And Swetrix was founded by my best friend, Andriy Romasun, and I believe that it was created to address the complexity and privacy issues. So, proving my point, I would say that Google Analytics is not usable at all. It's time-consuming, complicated, and your data is literally being sold to third-party agencies, to digital marketing agencies, and that's it. I guess Swetrix was created to address these issues. We reached the most advanced features on the website. My favorite feature is funnels. Google Analytics does not have funnels. I developed personally AI which predicts potential traffic on the website. Literally no one has such functionality. And we have so many features. And I guess that's the main reason why we decided to be better than Google Analytics. That's why it was created. That's why we're here.
Love it. And for anybody hearing about Swetrix for the very first time, as we said, there is a cookieless Google Analytics alternative that doesn't invade your users' privacy. I think it's perfect for marketers, startups, small businesses, and virtually any type of business. So it's also GDPR compliant as well. How has it been greeted by the startup community and the business community? Maybe I've got those gripes with Google Analytics that we've highlighted today. Is it easy to get them on board? How have people responded when they go from Google Analytics to Swetrix?
Well, our customers are incredibly loyal. You're right that we don't use cookies at all. We don't track any personal data, and we are open source. So I think these factors combined resulted in great loyalty of our customers, of everyone who switched from Google Analytics or decided us to use from the first glance. They are still satisfied and very loyal. We have not lost any clients during this 3 years of Swetrix.
And a question I've got to ask, as someone that has had experience in both Ukrainian and UK job markets, how would you compare the opportunities and challenges in the tech sectors in these two countries? Are there any synergies? Are there any big differences? What do you see here from the journey that you've been on?
First of all, Ukrainian market, for me personally, it was much harder to get the job there. In Ukraine, JavaScript and Java languages are dominant languages. They are being used for development more than all. And we have a lot of not open source, we have a lot of outsourced companies in Ukraine. I don't like outsource and outstaff companies. I have never worked on any of this, except EPAM gave me internal and external courses, which was great. Thanks them for that. And that's the whole point that for me was much, much harder to find a job in Ukraine. Though I managed to find the crypto Meta Universe platform. But in Britain, I have never been offered an offer to outsource companies.
Really?
I had offers to product companies, and I like this because you can focus on one thing. You don't need to spread your attention across everything. Maybe that's my personal experience. Maybe I believe the outsource companies in Britain exist and they work, but it's my personal experience. I need to mention that for me, it was easier to find a job in the UK since Python is very popular here.
Yeah.
But in Ukraine, you can also find great products. I'm not talking only about, we have Dia. It's a document management system. We have very modern banking system. You can send a payment, send money by your phone number or by 16 digits of your card within a second. And I guess we have very similar. Both UK and Ukraine markets are very modern and very enjoyable to work on.
And another big trend both here, the UK and Ukraine and everywhere in between is AI. And I've got to ask about your experiences here because we hear a lot about the hype and the hype cycle and everyone talking about it. But how are you actually seeing AI transforming many aspects of software development and indeed businesses? And how do you see AI impacting the future of software engineering? And are you seeing it increasingly playing a role in your work at Swetrix too?
Neil, honestly, I think that artificial intelligence is the real threat for humanity.
Yeah.
I truly believe that in new industrial revolutions, this will have a direct impact on everyone who lives on Earth. And the main point that it's very upsetting, no one shares the same thoughts as I do. Everyone is thinking that I'm obsessed and with AI and that's just a tool now. I agree that it's, in the current state, it's a tool, but I can clearly see the potential of this feature and incoming challenges. I don't know really what to answer on this. I'm a bit scared of AI since there is a real case example. Recently, I needed to create a Kubernetes cluster infrastructure. I have never worked with it. Didn't know where to start. I spent an hour for a decent AI prompt, and the whole infrastructure was done within 5 minutes.
Wow. That's incredible. And a little bit scary, as you said that. You must feel like somewhat of a heretic sometimes, trying to wake everyone up with everything that you think might happen, and everybody else is like, no, this is great. And no, is there anybody else that shares your views in the community that you can share ideas with, etc., or is this just something that you feel at the moment?
No one shares the thoughts with me. Everyone thinks it's a tool and call me inexperienced developer, even my best friends. But AI became irreplaceable parts for Swetrix, for example. I do architecture, design planning, sometimes development, business strategies, marketing strategies, analysis of market. Everything is done with AI. It saves your time. You're using it as a tool. But the best self-explanatory case of AI potential dangers is this cluster Kubernetes infrastructure.
It's a great example. And more positive news, I think open source development has gained significant traction too. So what would you say the key benefits are of building an open source platform like Swetrix, and how do you engage with the developer community to drive innovation? Because this is one of the things that really excites me. People's talking about AI, but that developer community collaborating, working together, driving innovation, that's where the cool stuff is, right?
Agree. I'm truly agree with you that open source platforms benefit from the collective knowledge and the general creativity of the developer community. If we are talking about Swetrix, we offer complete visibility into platform's code base. It's crucial in building trust with users. They can check how is data handled. They can check that we are not lying, that we store their data anywhere, and it positions us as credible and valuable product on the market. And I truly believe that everything must be open source. It's great if you want to have an ecosystem. We are building Swetrix ecosystem everywhere right now. People can use their own plugins, integrations, where they can modify platform how they want. And if all projects were open source, it would be possible as well. I've got one more example. We have a customer, Aziz. He even created his own visualization with Swetrix, made an article, and we got a lot of user traffic on the website.
Love that. And right at the beginning of the podcast, in your intro, you also mentioned you've authored a book called Your Journey to Fluent Python. So how has writing that book influenced your perspective on software development? And for anybody listening, that maybe they're opening up a window and checking that out on Amazon or any bookseller out there, what was your hope when writing it that your readers would take away from that book?
That's another long story. Back in 2021, I learned how to type hello world, and I wanted to open an IT school from that moment. I postponed it till 2023 to gain sufficient experience, knowledge in IT in general. And for IT school, I need to have several things. First thing is materials, the lessons themselves to teach other people. Second one is IT infrastructure of the school. I have one interesting idea how to transform the current education system. And the third one is learners. So in 2023, I started from the program, created a big table of list of contacts what I want to share during my lessons. And in a year, I realized that my lessons have transformed into a huge book about Python, consisting 500 pages with well-defined structure, with information in it. And that's how Your Journey to Fluent Python was created. Initially, it was just a program for school, but it turned out into the book.
I love that. Did you enjoy writing that book too? Is it something you'd consider doing again, or was it long, hard nights typing away that you don't want to return to? I've heard so many different experiences when it comes to writing those books.
It was very hard, long nights, very boring process, very, I would even say, responsible process.
Yeah.
You need to share with the world relevant information. That's, to be honest, that was one of the hardest projects I have ever made. It took 1,000 hours, never again. But with this book, I'm coming to a really media next year, and we will publish a printable version of the book.
I hear that so often. People say after finishing a book, I'm never doing that again, never again. But give it a few years and you'll be dragged straight back into that world, I'm sure. And we've already talked about AI, but the back-end development landscape is continuously evolving and the pace of change is happening so quickly at the moment. So I've got to ask, we've talked about what you're afraid of, what you don't like about AI, but what are some of the most exciting trends or technologies in back-end development that you're currently exploring that excite you, make you want to jump out of bed in the morning, and how are they helping shape the future of the field, would you say?
Mm-hmm. Well, the backend development is indeed evolving very fast. The most exciting trends for me is probably serverless architecture, AWS Lambda, Terraform, Azure Functions. It's great for startups and small teams to make the product quickly, not to have over complex management server system. Serverless I mentioned. The second one will be, I guess, microservice architecture system. I like microservices. I enjoy them since the beginning of my career, and I pursue with them till now. We have 2 AI services in Swetrix. We consider moving our some logic, which was suggested by our team lead, and to have a microservice architecture. But I have to admit, I work for Blackout Tech Technology right now. The project is 11 years old. It's code legacy. it's monolithic system, and it works as a Swiss clock. So if you can build such a great product, if you can build such a great monolith system, which will be stay for years, you should definitely consider trying monolith systems as well. So architecture microservices are good, but monolith is great as well if you have relevant skills and can build reliable project. What else? In the UK, I was introduced to GraphQL. It's relatively, I don't like this protocol. It's very hard to work with, but I suggest definitely taking a look into this. If you have complex relationships, you don't need to build a REST API you need to build GraphQL in order to reduce data overfetching. For GraphQL, I guess that's it. And what can be the last one? Kubernetes. Definitely Kubernetes. In my opinion, it's a revolution for DevOps. That's it. Of course, take a look into AI development, data science, understand how big large language models work, and figure out with prompt engineering. It will be very important skills for developers next years.
And listening to your story here and your incredible journey that you've been on, and the work you're doing from authoring the book to your time at Swetrix and Black Cow, it seems like you're so busy and spinning so many different plates as an entrepreneur and a software engineer. So I've got to ask, how do you balance the demands of running a startup, staying ahead in the fast-paced world of technology, particularly in the areas like AI and backend development? Any tips you can share there on how you find enough hours in the day to do all of this?
Well, what comes in mind is my schedule. I have extremely well-organized life. I wake up at 5 a.m. It can be 6 a.m. or a little bit later, 8 a.m. if I go to bed like at 1 or 2. After waking up, I go to play some tennis with my friend Robert or for a walk. Coming back, taking a cold shower, cooking food for the whole day, cleaning up the house, and starting working on my full-time job. So everything from my home routine is sorted, health routine is sorted, and I can completely focus on the goals. So you need to have a focus.
Yeah.
I believe that you should be involved in everything what's going on in the world, in any particular areas you're interested in. You should be involved into them, but you have to decide and focus on the main goal and put all the efforts into one thing. For example, your journey to Fluent Python was created due to this consistency.
It's not like the saying goes, where attention goes, energy flows. And I love everything that you've just mentioned there. The only thing that you've lost me on is the cold shower. Do you find the benefits from those cold showers? I did go through a phase of trying it, but I think I'm just too weak and mollycoddled to handle it. So are you used to it now, the cold shower thing?
Oh, well, it's very hard. You need to overcome yourself, but it gives you a boost in energy for the whole day. Only in the morning, or if you cannot wake up, the cold shower will wake you up with a cup of coffee.
Brilliant. And obviously we started the podcast talking about your origin story there and the journey that you've been on, but none of us are able to achieve any success without a little help along the way. So is there a particular person that you're grateful towards? Maybe they saw something in you, invested a bit of time in you that helped you get you where you are today.
First of all, I want to say thank you to my parents. They invested a lot of efforts into myself. They paid for English classes. They did everything for me to be successful in Britain. Without them, I wouldn't know English language, and my integration wouldn't be that smooth, I guess. Secondly, I want to mention my partner, my wife, and my love of my heart, Alexandra Savitska. She has been always with me through all difficult times. She went through everything. I made her an offer a year and a half ago. The third person I want to mention that Andrew Ramasun. He is my best friend, and I found him when I was looking for a front-end developer, and we became best friends. I pulled him over to the UK. We chill together, enjoy, play tennis, build businesses, evolving. And the last thing, I wanted to say thank you to Alexander Isherwood. He was my first British employer. And Alex, if you are listening this, of course you will be, because I will send you the link. I am very grateful. You really helped me to get on my feet in Britain. And I believe that yours, Know Someone startup, will succeed. He's building a startup. Can I advertise it as well, please?
Yes, absolutely. Go for it.
So Alex, it's a present for you. He's building startup Know Someone. It's a platform. As from what I understood, it's a platform where you can refer someone for a job. And they are building community of employers, candidates, referrers, and media partners. So please, Nail's audience, could you Google Know Someone and Swetrix and support British market?
Fantastic. Absolutely love that. And although this is a tech podcast, one of the things that drives me to record this every single day is the community of people who are seamlessly collaborating, selflessly, helping each other on their own journey. And your answer there was a great example of that. And the people that you're thanking that have played a huge part in your journey. And maybe they don't fully appreciate just how much you're grateful towards that help, how much it has helped you. And obviously you want to repay that back. So it's absolutely beautiful. So a big shout out to all those people. You should be getting a nice fuzzy warm feeling inside, because you've really made a difference to my guest's life today. And feedback to you, my friend. What's the best place for anyone listening to find out more information about anything we talked about today, talk with you, connect with you or your team? Where would you like to point everyone listening? Anywhere in particular?
Please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just Google Yehor Dremliuha. I guess I will need to leave a link for that. Google your journey to Fluent Python. Please start using Swetrix. Please take a look into Know Someone. And I guess that's all my online presence.
Brilliant. Well, what I will do, I'll add links to everything you mentioned there, including your book, Your Journey to Fluent Python as well. And it'd be great to hear. Well, I encourage anyone listening to reach out and contact you directly. You have been on an inspiring journey, and we've only scratched the surface of it today. So I know there is so much more that you've got to share and give to the tech community too. So more than anything, just a big thank you for taking time out of your day to sit down with me here and share your story. This is what it's all about. Technology working best when it brings people together. So thanks for sharing your journey today.
Thanks for having me, Nail, on your podcast. Thank you so much.
I think my guest journey teaches us so much about resilience, adaptability, and innovation in the tech world. And today we explored his path from Ukraine to the UK, his work at Swetrix, and his vision for a future of software development, and how privacy-focused open-source solutions like Swetrix are actually making waves in web analytics, and for giving us a bit of a glimpse into how AI could revolutionise backend development, but with a warning from my guest today. So please, if you're curious to learn more about his work, whether it's Swetrix or his book, Your Journey to Fluent Python, please make sure you connect with him on LinkedIn. I know it will go a long way. It'll mean a lot to him, so please do that. And as for you listening, what impact do you think AI and open source development will have on the future of tech? It's now time for you to join the conversation. Tell me how we can better navigate the changes and challenges and opportunities ahead. As always, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilC.Hughes. Let me know. But time for me to go now, quitting time, so I'll be back with another episode tomorrow. But thank you for listening. Please join me again tomorrow. But bye for now.